Beep, where are you? Is what Tracy's boyfriend texted her as she was on her way back from the mall. She responds, I'm on my way. As she's waiting for the light to turn green, another ring, another message. How long? But she's driving and couldn't finish the last word before hitting the send button. Her last message to her boyfriend was, I'll be there in blank. Imagine the smoke, the skid marks, blood everywhere, loud sirens coming down your way, in your direction. Your life changes at an instant due to a simple decision that could have been avoided. Texting reduces the reaction by 35%. We are all guilty of distractions, but one remains to be a constant enemy for teens and young adults: texting while driving. I know. We all try so hard to keep our phones away from us while driving, but the sound of the buzzing causes an intense rush. It's hard to escape. It exclaims, read me, but you really know you shouldn't. But you do it anyways. Our generation is so fixated with connections of others while not paying attention to the connections that's right in front of us. We get distracted manually by the people around us. For example, there could be a friend in your car talking to you about a topic that you're very interested in knowing about. She talks to you, and in the midst of the conversation, while looking both ways in the traffic, she touches your arm. You drive to the right, and bam, you get into a car crash because you didn't look again to the left of the street. You may ask yourself, but I was watching while I was driving. In fact, you were trying to multitask. Driving is already a multitasking strategy we use on a daily basis. Adding another task into our brain can dilute it without realizing it. It states in Films Media Source that nearly 80% of crashes involve driver inattention. But that wasn't the case with Tracy. Her distraction was visual. As she was messaging her boyfriend back, she lost her focus on the road completely for over 10 seconds. 82% of teens admit to cell phone use behind the wheel. Film Media Book Source states. There are only two ways you can get from this problem: the effects that are jail time and highly fined citations. Luckily, Tracy survived the accident, but has to deal with some consequences. Her license was suspended, and now she has to pay a $100 citation. If she were to have killed someone, then it would have been a larger consequence. She would have been in jail and lived with the guilt for the rest of her life. But we have to keep in mind that all this can easily be preventable. Keep your mind on the road and follow on some positive reinforcement exercises. I'm not making this up. Our brain is a very powerful organ, and we can do so much to train its mechanisms. One thing that I do is tell myself that if I stay off the phone for a certain amount of time, I'll be able to text back after the time is up. So I set up an alarm for every hour I'm on the road, and I also put the phone on silent to avoid the diversion. 1 in 4 accidents in the United States are caused by cell phone use. But of those cell phone related accidents, only 5% happen because the driver was texting. And this was stated in the UWire text source. Legislation passed a bill last month to hands-free cell phone. This includes to exclude the use of social media and calling systems. I believe that passing a bill to ban cell phone use while driving is a great start to end the cell phone use while driving, but I would like for it to enforce drivers to be more cautious of the consequences. For example, Tracy still texts and drives till this day, and I believe that if there were more stricter laws, then she would have taken this more seriously. It should demand awareness, and it also should demand the privilege we have as drivers. Instead of fining $100 for the first time, how about we pay a larger amount? Nobody really wants to pay a large fine. So we should also have them take a class to show the risks of texting while driving. And also maybe have a presenter there to influence them, a tragedy they experienced while texting and driving. They could have been the texter and driver, or they could have been the other person on the other wheel. So let's put this into action so that we don't have to deal with the misuse of driving. In conclusion, ask yourself, why does it affect you and me? And how will it affect our kids in the future? Many years ago, this wasn't a problem. There wasn't smartphones back then. So what's going to happen now? We need to implement a change on how society has failed to keep us focused. Although we can use our brains to multiple levels, we cannot stress another task involving phones. If we add it into our daily life while driving, then we cannot focus on what's really in front of us. I ask all of you to reconsider the reality of what you're really doing while texting and driving. If you don't know anyone who has died from texting and driving, I'm sure that soon you will know.